So our submission deadline will be May 18th.
Okay.
And I think when the Without a Box account gets set up, it'll say like an early bird deadline is April 1st, but
April
we really
1st.
are submitting them as soon as the account is active. So if you have something ready to go, you should be able to drop it in right away. That's the only thing about deadlines,
Mhm.
right? And then the actual festival itself,
July 13th and 14th.
July 13th and 14th, yeah. So the 13th will be a filmmaker's reception. Last year we did that at Riken, and we had just like some hors d'oeuvres and wine. My husband works at the winery down in Leonardtown, so
Oh.
Yeah.
so he pours.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, do you know them?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say
What's his name?
David Wood.
David Wood.
Yeah.
It's not the same
It's-
David Wood I know.
It's probably 100 David Woods down here. So anyway, that's Friday night. Last year we had a panel discussion. They just talked about filming in Maryland, different issues, some legal issues, some practical issues. We had
Kind of
someone.
the business of filmmaking. We
Okay.
got into, and go ahead.
No, that's right. I was just thinking Jack Gerbis was there, and we had somebody from Discovery Channel, Discovery Communications. He had shot some documentaries for them, and I can't off the top of my head remember who was there. But
I know. I meant to bring a program, and so that we had all of our names. But we like to try to use the local college professors as well. They are a wealth of information and a good local resource. So even though Jack Gerbis is coming in from the Maryland Film Office, he's not always accessible to us. And so we like to try to bring in some local resources as well as people that have worked in the big leagues, so to speak. And so hopefully we'll be continuing to get some more of
Where
those
does he come out
connections.
of, Baltimore?
He's in Baltimore, D.C.
yeah, Baltimore, the
He's in
Maryland Film
Baltimore.
Office.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's been on set for some major films, and so he was able to give us some insight as far as shooting locations and budget and hiring people and where do you find people. And then
Yeah.
the gentleman from the Discover Channel,
I just remember he was filming for Shark Week
yeah,
and all of the things they did for special effects for Shark Week.
and horror stories of all of your equipment going into the water and all those kinds of good things.
Yeah.
So that was a very interesting panel. We liked it a lot. And what we had found was the first time that we did the festival in 2015 is that we had kind of overbooked our filmmakers. So it wasn't necessarily a good experience for the filmmakers. It was okay for the audience that came in, but we had them at their showing and doing a Q&A and doing meet and greets, and we had really lined up their schedule. And we found that what a lot of people like to do is just sit in an audience and watch their film with people who haven't seen it before, and to get that reaction and stuff. So we kind of slowed down and toned it down a little bit more. So that's when we came up with the 2-day thing, so that the filmmakers could get some professional development with people that have been in the business for a while, and then also some interaction with their audience and being able to discuss their film with people after they had seen it and that kind of thing. So
Now, can you tell us the specifications for what you're looking for as far as length of what the film would be?
We have accepted everything from like a minute long, because we also work with the high school tech center, those kids in their video production department. So anything from like a minute and a half, and I think our longest was 90 minutes, that was last year.
Okay, so full.
What we did find
length
was
feature.
that the feature-length films were not so well attended, because when people paid their money, they wanted to see as many films as possible.
Sure.
So we are suggesting that films stay around an hour or less. I mean, if they're a little bit over, it's not going to disqualify anybody, but it's
Right.
just when we build the schedule, that's something that we kind of consider how to put those in with a lot of other short films and make it a good experience for our audience too.
Okay,
So they
the
feel like they're
types of
getting-
films can be anywhere from documentary to comedy to drama to
Yeah,
anything,
absolutely.
right?
we've even had music videos, we've had
That's true.
commercials.
We have one kind of animated one.
So we would love to see more animation. If you
Okay,
have
we
any animators,
Yeah, one of our members is an animation.
Oh, that's great.
we would like to. That was one of the things. Some of like the Annapolis Film Festival, there was a lot more animation that I saw,
Okay.
and so we'd like to see more of that. But yeah, you're talking Dr. Todd.
Dr. Todd.
So yeah, we've had everything from like I said, music videos to commercials to just personal like video journals to documentaries, and some of the historical sites around the area have even their publicity
Okay.
films that they've made. So pretty much if you filmed it, we will accept it as far as
Yeah.
subject matter.
And you were, at the beginning of the video, you were mentioning how you can submit it, you can do it as either a DVD, or is it entirely electronic gonna be?
The way we've talked about it so far in committee is everything's electronic, but we
Okay.
do have the resources to show films that are on DVD.
Okay,
We've just, in the past few years, had some technical difficulties with those, and
Sure.
so, especially our first year, not so much
Oh,
last year, but
mercy,
our
yeah.
first year. So just with formatting and everything, so
Okay.
we thought this would be, because most people, I think, aren't you all shooting on digital?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's probably easier.
And even if not, they're editing in digital.
Right.
Okay.
Nobody's using
I was gonna say,
flatbed
if-
editor anymore.
If you have somebody that has something that's on DVD that's already
Right.
been done,
Mhm.
and, you know, we do have the technology to be able to, we would work with them on that if they had something they wanted to submit that
And
wasn't
what's
digital.
the best location for them to find out when that finally is up? The Facebook page, or do you have a,
Well, Facebook, we also have a website, it's
Right.
smdff.org, and Twitter, they're kind of all linked together.
okay,
And then you have our email address also,
Mhm.
smdfilmfest@gmail.com, sorry.
SMD Film Fest.
And as we're getting closer to the festival, then that is, I keep a better eye on that than I do from like July through, once the festival's over, it's pretty much, take a
Yeah,
break.
take a breath and then start planning the next
Yeah.
one.
So,
So
yeah.
if people are looking at our website or our Facebook page, they're not finding the information that they need, or it hasn't been updated for one reason or another, feel free to email us and
Okay.
directly, and if you've got questions, happy to answer those. One of the other things is that the committee primarily is comprised of teachers, and so at different parts of the year, they are
Sure, sure.
a little busier than others,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
sometimes that doesn't get updated
Yeah.
quite on the time frame that we would like
Mhm.
it to. But absolutely contact us directly if you have questions that you need answers to.
Okay.
Absolutely. And we're also building the program as we go along. We usually start building the program of guest speakers and workshops or anything as we get closer. So we would love to hear from the filmmaking community. If there's anything in particular you would like to know more about, or if you know of someone you would like to see present, or, you know, or get a special invite, you know, just let us know, because we're really open at this point to anything, anything and everything. We start asking for guest speakers and everything. I think January, February,
I think so, yeah.
we start trying to put the actual program itself together.
Okay.
We also, sponsorships are always welcome if you know any of the local business community that want to get involved. We've tried to kind of venture into Charles County and Calvert County as well. That's why we did the mini fest this year, to try to get our name out there a little bit. Just because most of us are in St. Mary's, so we don't really have the connections. So if you have
Mhm.
connections in other places, or somebody who might want to be a part of it, we have in-kind donations and sponsors, and a lot of, again, I plug Leonardtown because I work for Leonardtown, but the other beauty of working in Leonardtown is a lot of the businesses gave us in-kind type sponsorships. So if they loaned us their venue for the day, that was a sponsorship.
Sure,
If they
sure.
printed the programs, and that's really helped us budget-wise until we were able to be financially sound. And that also helps us so that we don't have to charge a submission fee for films, which is kind of unique in the whole film festival
Yeah.
area. So that might change. I'm not going to speak for the future, but
Won't-
right,
Yeah, it won't change this year.
but it won't change this year. Right now, it's still free to submit, and
That's
we like all ages to submit. So
Yeah.
we're also looking for volunteers, like our good friend Charlotte here, who has
Who
worked
runs around. Runs around. She's very busy that day.